Alright guys, we're gonna be going over majority element 169. This is part of the 150 official Leetcode guide for interviewing. And this problem literally broke my head just to prove it. Look, yeah, just to prove it, man. Like it breaks my head. Because originally I was doing it with no hash table. And yeah, because in the guide it says it's array, so I was just trying to do it with an array. uh, but yeah, let's go ahead and jump into coding. Let's jump into Vim. Let me turn off the diagnostics, the LSP. So first things we gotta do is, you already know, we actually, let me see if, let's just auto generate this, right? Let's traverse through the array. And then we're gonna do this logic: if I equals nums I minus 1, meaning the next one, we're gonna do a specific logic there. Here we would have an error, something like -1 out of bounds or something like that. And it's because 0 minus 1 is -1, so that's why this has to be 1. And then we're gonna create a counter variable, right? And this variable is defaulted to 1 because if you only seen the number one time, then, by default we seen it one time. We can't see it 0 times. For example, we see 3 one time, 2 one time, and etc. So that is the reason why it defaults to 1. It doesn't default to 0. So we're gonna up the counter, right? Or simply we just seen it once and we move on, right? And then we're gonna use the forbidden formula. So we're gonna call it frequency, and if num's length divided by 2, right? This is the formula. If the counter is greater than the forbidden formula, then the forbidden number we're searching for, is gonna be that ith element. Int number equals 0. Okay, here this should give us errors because because of edge cases. So it can't be 0. It actually has to be nums 0, meaning the first element of the array. And then let's return number. And then let's go ahead and submit this. And hopefully it works out nice. It did not. Oh, it's because we have to also sort the array. For the algorithm to work, it has to be sorted. So there we go. It works nice and clean. So now let's go ahead and do it with a hash table. Okay, so let me gather my thoughts. We're gonna do a map interface, and then we're gonna do integer, and then map equals new hash map. And so the key is an integer and the values are gonna be integers. So the values are gonna be the frequency, and the key is gonna be the element itself, the number, like 1 2 3 4 6 6 whatever. So we're just gonna do an enhanced for loop. The reason why it does not matter to do it for I is because we don't care about the indexes for this logic. We're just gonna call it value, and then we're gonna traverse the elements, and then we're gonna create a frequency variable, and then we're gonna get map or default, and then the key is gonna be the value, and then it's gonna default to 0. Then what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna update the map with the value and the frequency plus 1. So this logic was the same logic as the counter plus plus, or just plus 1. We've seen it just one time. So this is in charge of plus 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 plus, right? And then all we gotta do now is int keys. We're gonna check the key set. That's all we gotta do now. Int frequency. Let's just call it formula for here, just so it's not as confusing from the other approach. So let's use the forbidden formula, which is length divided by 2. So our array divided by 2. If formula, no, actually, if map get key, let's just call it key. I think it looks nicer. If key is greater than the formula, then the forbidden number gets assigned that key element value. Int number, and then we just return the number. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this, and hopefully there's no issues. Okay, no issues. Let's submit, and there we go. So this is how you do both HashMap and doing it without the HashMap. I recommend doing it without the HashMap and then doing the HashMap. As you can see, the HashMap approach is much easier to follow, but the array, using the array is a good way to go about going with the problem, because there's other problems that use the same logic. And what I refer to that is by the, let me see if I can go back. What I mean by that is this logic right here. Nums I equals nums I minus 1, or it can be nums I does not equal, right? So this logic, this line itself is like gold. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the answers down below to my GitHub repository. But yeah, take care, guys.